Beautiful, little bit cooler Sunday afternoon at Coors Field as folks make their way inside the ballpark. Final ball game of the homestand for the Rockies as they look to salvage one of three against the Atlanta Braves after falling last night 13-9. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Drew Goodman. Well, the Rockies' offense has not been an issue. In fact, they have scored more than 8 runs per game in this homestand. The bad news is they're just 3-5 going into the final game of this homestand. Pitching, as you know, has been the issue, particularly starting pitching. They're not getting length, they're not getting enough quality, and now the bullpen is getting overused. Thus, the Rockies the last 2 days have blown significant early leads. As I bring in my partner, Jeff Hewson, Jim Tracy, more frustrated, I think, than we've ever seen him since he took over the reins a few years ago.
Yeah, and talking to him, you can just sense that because, you know, this game is built and predicated on pitching, whether it be the starters or the relievers, and you can see what's happened with the ranks and where they stand in their pitching. And even the bullpen goes out there, and then they get overexposed and overused, and it's a domino effect where you can't have the guys you want to pitch late in the ball game because you have to shuffle the deck and maybe use them earlier than you want. And it makes it very difficult for a manager and also the pitching coach. But today you're relying on Juan Nicasio. The last 3 starts for him, he's gone over 6 innings. He's pitched very well here at Coors Field, 2-0 this year. In his career, 6-1 with an ERA just above 3. So he's figured it out. And what you hope for is you don't put too much pressure on this young pitcher to be the savior, the guy that goes out there and has to save that bullpen and save the starting rotation.
Yeah, that's what it's come down to because Juan Nicasio, as you mentioned, all of a sudden he's at the front of the rotation, and a few months ago you were wondering if Juan Nicasio was going to be able to pitch and then would he be ready for the start of the season. So Juan Nicasio will take the baseball today against Atlanta. When we come back, we'll talk about Cinco. He's been pretty good lately. 4 hits last night. head west. They'll play San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco over the next 9 days. But first things first, the Rockies trying to get after the Braves on a Sunday afternoon. Back upstairs with Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Carlos Gonzalez has been just sensational. Notoriously somewhat of a slow starter. Not this year after the first week of the season. Last night, 4 hits, on base 5 times, and the previous night he punched out 3 times.
Well, I think that just shows you the maturity level of Carlos Gonzalez on this homestand. 469 average, 5 home runs, 3 of those against lefties, 25 RBIs on the season, which is 3rd best in the National League. Walks are up this year too, already 11 walks, so he's tied for the team lead in that as well. So Carlos Gonzalez is learning a lot about himself, his swing, and what opposing pitchers are trying to do to him. I think that's the key for any hitter, that you know, are they trying to pitch around me, or are they trying to get me out outside the strike zone? He's starting to figure that out.
You know, I've said this many times over the last couple of years. I'm going to say it again right now. If we're reaching in our pocket to buy a ticket, he's a guy at the very top of the list that you want to buy a ticket to see.
Well, no doubt, because you don't go to the hot dog stand when he's to the plate, because he's going to hit a ball, and it's usually going to be hit hard, and sometimes it's even out of the ballpark.
That's correct. So Carlos Gonzalez and the Rockies will look to get after the Atlanta Braves. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By CenturyLink, fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get you 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Juan Nicasio making the sprint to the mound. Juan 2-0 with a 4.40 ERA, making his 6th start of the year. Michael Bourne has a 3.33 average, and that is tied for the best among all National League leadoff hitters. Here's the Southwest batting order, the rest of it for Freddie Gonzalez. Martin Prado will get his first start of the series in the 2 spot. Then Freddie Freeman, Dan Uglow bat cleanup, Jason Hayward 5th. Juan Francisco for Chipper Jones at 3rd. It'll be his 10th start there. David Ross behind the plate, his 6th start this year for Brian McCann. Tyler Pasternicki at shortstop, and Brandon Beachy is on the hill. And a look at Nicasio's numbers. Monday, a solid outing against the Dodgers. He got the victory, 2 runs in 6 innings. That'll work.
Yeah, and a career high for him, 115 pitches in that start. In his last 2 outings, he's been very impressive. 12 2/3, only 3 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, 3 walks, and a 2.13 ERA.
So Nicasio ready to go. Michael Bourne steps in. And the first pitch of the ball game is in there, strike 1. Bourne hitting .423 against right-handed pitching this year. And that's in there as well. Brian Runge's behind home plate. Brian, a very good ball and strike umpire. Marvin Hudson, Tim McClellan, Ted Barrett with him. And that's strike 3. He just went right after him. Michael Bourne evidently looking for something else. That was a heater down Broadway.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I mean, those are 3 well-located pitches. Straight 4-seam fastball from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. He obviously was expecting an off-speed pitch.
So here's Prado. And if you're on the right side, you have to beware. This guy takes the ball the other way exceptionally well. I was watching his batting practice today. I didn't see him pull the ball once. Everything's a series of line drives shot toward right or right center, just like that. Kadire with it tailing away is going to make the catch. Nice running catch by Kadire.
Well, and nice advanced scouting too, knowing Prado is trying to hit the ball to right field. Kadire on the dead sprint, reaches out, nails it.
Here's the Rockies defensively. As quickly we have 2 outs. Cargo, Dexter Fowler, Kadire in the outfield. At third base, Johnny Herrera on this Sunday afternoon. Tulowitzki, Scutero, Jason Giambi at first for Helton. Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. And Freddie Freeman gets plunked with a 94-mile-an-hour heater.
Just trying to stay inside on Freeman. Don't let him get those arms extended. Well, caught more than just the jersey. Trying to see if it was just a jersey shot. It also caught a portion of the rib cage area.
Yeah, you can tell by his reaction that was not just a jersey shot. So Dan Uggla will get to hit here in the first inning. Uggla off to a much better start than a year ago. His batting average 3 months in was well below 200 before going on that 33-game hitting streak. And
Dan Uggla is a longtime veteran hitter, but he's not a guy that you could picture going on a 33-game hitting streak.
No, he's going to strike out some, and he's going to have 0 for days. That's what history tells us, especially in a year where he had struggled in a new city so much.
Well, and he's also not a guy that will leg out a lot of infield hits.
No, good point. Even after putting together a 33-game hitting streak, still batted a career low 233 last season.
You'd only imagine where it would be if he didn't have that hit streak. He'd be flirting with the Mendoza line.
Yes. But at the end of the year, 36 home runs, 82 RBIs. 2 years ago, 33 and 105 with the Marlins, 287 average. Here's the 2-1, and it's fouled off, 2-2. Dan Uggla's not the prettiest second baseman in baseball. I remember the tough all-star game he had when he made 3 errors. Stand-up guy, answered every question afterward, was answering every question for a couple of weeks after that. He's already made 5 errors defensively, which is a ton on the right side. But guess what? He's going to knock in more than he gives up.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Jeff Kent in that regard. That they just get the job done, but they're out there for their offense.
And now it's 3-2 on Uggla. Freddie Freeman at first. Rockies have been starved for quick innings, 1, 2, 3 innings. They had a chance for it, and then Nicasio hits Freeman. Now he's gone deep on Uggla. Swung on and miss. Couple of strikeouts in the inning for Juan Nicasio. As he fans Dan Uggla. We'll see the Rockies on offense next. Braves 9-0. It hasn't gotten them a win yet, but it'd be a nice way to start again on a Sunday afternoon. Marco Scutaro will lead things off. Here's the Southwest batting order for Jim Tracy. Johnny Herrera will be next. Johnny has a home run on this homestand. Cargo at 4 hits last night, as we discussed a few moments ago, will bat third. Troy Tulowitzki 4th, Jason Giambi 5th, and Michael Kadire hit a grand slam in the opening frame last night. Ramon Hernandez, Dexter Fowler, and Juan Nicasio, who's thrown out some hits this year. 25-year-old Brandon Beachy out of that baseball mecca, Indiana Wesleyan on the Hill.
Not too many guys from there, but the numbers for Beachy are tremendous. A 193 batting average against. That's 10th best in the National League, and it's not just righties or lefties hitting 197, right-handers 190. Ryan Dempster leads the National League at 144 average against.
Braves always find guys, don't they?
They do.
Beachy was undrafted.
And good for him. Good for him.
You always appreciate those guys. You, of course, were undrafted.
So he's just had to work harder to get to where he's at. That's the way Brandon Beachy approached it. That's the way I approached it. So what? You gave me a chance in a uniform. Now it's up to me to do it, and he's done it.
This ball had a lot of wood on it. I think Scutaro got under it a smidgen. And Martin Prado on the edge of the warning track will make the catch. Scutaro kind of glancing out there, wondering how much he missed it by, I guess. In the outfield, Prado, originally a second baseman, Bourne and Hayward. Infield has Juan Francisco with the Reds last year, Pasternicky the Kid, Dan Uggla, Freddie Freeman, and David Ross, veteran backstop. One gone, and here's Johnny. .289, couple home runs now for Herrera, and 4 driven in.
One right-handed, one left-handed. The other day, no doubt about it, from the left side.
Johnny has started 7 times in the last 10 ball games, all at third base.
Well, he's hitting .344 during that time. Couple home runs, 4 RBIs we saw, and he's played impeccable defense.
1-1 from Beachy, and it catches his own. Beachy has that 4-pitch mix.
Yeah, fastball, it'll sit 92, 93 miles an hour, changeup, slider. But his secondary, his best one, is a 12-6 curveball. We'll see how it plays out today at altitude.
He went to it right there. That played out pretty well. That fell off the table.
And that's what they've said about him. The scouting reports is he straight over the top, pull down with the middle finger and get the rotation and watch it bite. It's a great look on the rotation once again from our Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, where it starts above the belt. It ends up, by the time Ross catches it, down by the ankles and the shoe tops. That's Supermo today, because it's a daytime, it's 1,000 frames per second.
One 1-0 on Carlos. Cargo's faced Beachy before, and he had success against him, took him deep. Tulowitzki also in the on-deck circle with a home run against Beachy. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cargo 1 for 2, a 2-run home run against Brandon Beachy. Tulowitzki 2 for 2, a 3-run home run against Beachy. He didn't like his 1 outing at Coors Field last year.
No, it was not pretty. 4 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. Trying to put those memories out of his head. This was last year. There was the 12-6 that hung. That was 12-8 and gone.
And he runs the count full on Gonzalez. 2 outs, nobody on for the Rockies in the first. Got 5 on Friday night in the first. Got 4 last night in the first on the Kadire Grand Slam. In fact, the Rockies went up 6-0 yesterday. So the Braves overcame a 5-run deficit on Friday night, a 6-run deficit yesterday. The last time a Braves team overcame deficits back-to-back of at least 5 runs, they were the Boston Braves. It was the 40s. And the fastball misses. Cargo will go to first, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki.
And that's what we were talking about in our open about Carlos Gonzalez. 12 walks on the season for Carlos.
And you couldn't have walked him in the first week of the season. It would have been impossible.
Yeah, 12 might have been a year.
Yeah. Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, as they have the last couple of days, on average, in fact, in this homestand, go to participating Colorado Taco Bells. Do it between 4 and 6. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Cargo got a big jump, and Ross won't even throw. That's stolen base number 5, and he just moved ahead of Eric Young Jr. for the club lead in that department.
Yeah, and he just went as soon as he saw any sort of movement from Brandon Beachy. Took off, great jump, and that's what caused David Ross to bobble the baseball, because Ross had been 3 for 6 throwing out base stealers.
Not that you do it here because there are 2 outs. But I want to ask you a question after this pitch. Popped up out of play. You were a very good base stealer. Heard from a couple different base stealers who were also very good in the big leagues. The best time to steal third is the very next pitch after you steal second, because the pitcher kind of relaxes, go, well, you're not going to go here. Right,
and as a middle infielder too, your thought process is the same. Well, I don't think he's going to go here, and you catch the guy's off base because you're relax. And then you get that walking lead and you can take off.
Right. But you wouldn't do it with 2 outs.
Not with 2 outs and Troy at the plate. This ball well hit to right, but it's going to land
well out of play.
The Rockies now on the season are 19 stolen bases in 24 attempts, a 79% average, and the magic number to me is 75%.
Huey, there's not many offensive statistics that you can quibble with so far this year with the Rockies.
No, I mean, that's not the problem. It's the 100, they've scored 145 runs. That's second best in the National League. The only other better team is the Braves at 155, but they've played 2 extra games than the Rockies.
They've played 2 extra games, and they've also played 2 games here where they've now scored 22 runs.
That would help the average too.
Yeah, the Rockies have assisted in the fact that Atlanta's ahead of them in runs scored. Great crowd today. Sell out a possibility. More than 40,000 last night. Another 0-2, and this ball is smothered to deep center field. Bourne going back, and he's going to make the catch in the middle of the track. Off the bat, I thought that one had a chance. Had the right sound. We'll go to the second, scoreless.
Here at Coors Field, we are scoreless heading in to the second inning. Now, the inconsistencies of the Rockies starters has been well documented. It's not just their lack of innings, though. It's the trouble they get in with 2 strikes. When you take a look at the batting average of opposing hitters against the starting pitchers, these numbers are kind of astonishing. Jamie Moyer, he's giving up 314. Today's starter, Juan Nicasio, 300 average against him with 2 strikes. And tomorrow's starter, Drew Pomeranz, 275. Today so far for Nicasio, though, when he's had 2 strikes on hitters, he's struck both of them out. So I like the way that the trend perhaps is turning around.
Well, that is a telling statistic, Jenny. Again, the league average once a batter has 2 strikes on him is beneath 200, significantly beneath 200, 177. And against the Rockies, if you add all those guys up, it's close to 300, which you hope, even in 2-0 counts, if you're doing your job, you hope it's not that high, though it typically is, but you understand the point.
Yeah, and it just gives the confidence to the other team.
This is 2-0, and Jason Hayward hits one deep to center field. Ball's not traveling to center field. Jason Hayward hit that like Tulowitzki hit it.
And I was just looking up into the flags to see if there was much going on, and there's really not. So there must be something happening down on the field, because it came off the bat loud and high and hard, just like Troy's did, but Dexter Fowler, like Michael Bourne, caught it almost in the same area before the warning track.
One gone, Juan Francisco at the plate. Francisco does have quite a bit of pop. He gathers himself to swing the bat. Last year when he was playing for the Reds, he hit a 502-foot home run at Great American Ballpark. It's the longest home run ever hit there. We've kidded about this before, Huey, that for whatever reason it seems like you can't hit a 500-foot home run. All these grids won't allow you to. It's always 465, well, 480, these monster shots. But that one was recorded at more than 500 feet.
Well, they might have had to put a second grid on it just to add the two together, because who's going to think that, oh, well, let's grid this out to over 500 feet.
Yeah, doesn't happen that much. 3-1. So you're talking about those Braves comebacks. Last time they erased 2 5-run deficits was when they were the Boston Braves, May 31st, 1949. And they trailed Philadelphia 5-0, won 7-6, and then they trailed 5-0 the next day and won 8-6. The old resilient Boston Braves of '49. Remember them well. Here's the 3-2. And that is low, ball 4. So a 1-out walk to Francisco, and that'll bring up Ross. He's made the most of his starts this year. 316, a home run, 4 RBIs.
6 for 18, couple doubles to throw in. Part of those 6 hits. And he understands his role because he knows Brian McCann's going to be out there 5, if not 6 days out of the week. Get the day game after the night game or the Sunday starts.
A 35-year-old from Bainbridge, Georgia. Crossed the border, though. He went to Auburn. Ooh. Yeah, those 2 prominent Alabama schools, the one in Tuscaloosa and the one in Auburn, they do recruit Georgia quite a bit. Here's the 1-1. 2-1. Braves have done a good job in their home state also of drafting players.
There's a lot of guys to be drafted in that, but you have to scout in your own backyard. The East Cobb program.
This is a double play ball. There's 1 and there's 2. 6-4-3 on the turn, and another solid inning from Juan Nicasio. Help will not lead it off. Kadire will be up next inning, though. Off for the Rockies in the second inning. Michael Kadire, Ramon Hernandez to follow. During the month of May, Root Sports is looking for the biggest Rockies fans in two of our favorite Rocky Mountain states, Idaho and Wyoming. Tell us why you're a fan and enter to win the ultimate fan experience, which will include travel and a hotel for you and a guest to watch the Rockies play. We'll put you up in the Root Sports suite, give you all kinds of good prizes. For official rules and enter to visit RockyMountain.rootsports.com. That's how you enter. So Giambi facing Brandon Beachy. The shift is on. Three infielders on the right side.
Well, and they did it different too than what the Rockies did on their switch, where they went ahead and moved Juan Francisco, the third baseman, to the shortstop area and put Tyler Pastornicki on the second base side.
1 ball, 1 strike on the big man. Giambi hit a 3-run homer on Wednesday, and that put him over 1,400 career RBIs. One of 71 guys in Major League Baseball history with 1,400 plus ribbies. Here's the 3-1 and ball 4. So leadoff walk for the Giambino. Today's Save of the Week brought to you by the region's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your local consumer-owned electric cooperative delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. Visit togetherwesave.com. You know what save it was? It was Giambi saving the day with a 3-run walk-off against the Dodgers on Wednesday. Scott Elbert. Kadire fouls off this first pitch. It's 0-1. Giambi look to steal here, Huey?
No, he's going to have the stop sign. Do not run.
Do not run.
Anchor your feet close to first base.
You're so conservative.
I saw what Michael Kadire did last night with that grand slam to left center field.
I will say this, just judging on swings, you watched Michael Kadire's first inning swing last night against Mike Minor. The Rockies are seeing the ball well for Brandon Beachy.
Well,
would
you
concur?
I would, because you already have 2 walks for Beachy. Other than the strikeout to Jonathan Herrera, they're picking the ball up out of his hand and recognizing location and spin.
And the interesting thing is he threw a great hook to Herrera, but we haven't seen it since. May see it here. Yep. So Kadire trades places with Giambi. 1 out. That'll bring up Ramon Hernandez. Ramon got to give a couple of big bear hugs to Willeen Rosario last night. Rosario hit a pair of home runs. And this ball's well hit to right field. Hayward going back, and he's going to have to play it off the wall. Kadire got a great read. He basically said if he makes the catch, it's going to be a double play. Because when that ball kissed off the wall, Michael was already around second. And even that ball, Brett, the ball doesn't seem to be carrying.
No, but think that last night and the night before, it was well into the 80s when we started the ball game. Today, it's probably in the mid-50s. High 50s. But Michael Kadire understood when this ball went off the bat, he knew, and he just glanced and slowed down ever so slightly and read it once he saw the numbers for Jason Hayward to him, meaning that he had turned his back and was looking for the carom off the wall.
Big at bat here for Dexter, hitting out of the 8th spot. And he takes a strike. First and third, Nicasio's on deck. You hitting this spot in the order a little bit. What's your mindset here?
Well, I'm not going to leave it up to the pitcher behind me, so I want to make sure that I even have to expand the zone. I'm going to do that because I want to get that first run on the board, and with the Kadire at third base, get the ball in the air. If I hit it on the ground, I have the speed to hopefully beat it out and not hit into a double play.
Ball and a strike on decks. Rockies have done exceptionally well with runners in scoring position.
Well, and Beachy's numbers go up as far as batting average against. With nobody on, it's 171. With runners in scoring position, it's 286.
Kadire at third, Hernandez at first. Now, one thing you have to be impressed with about Beachy, not only the numbers coming in, but he's not afraid to throw inside.
Well, and that sets up the 12-6 curveball, the changeup that fades away from the left-handers. You have to, at the big league level, use inside, outside, up, and down. If you just stay in one spot, you'll get crushed here.
Big strikeout. Beachy with a heater up, fans Fowler. 2 outs, and now Juan Nicasio will come to the plate.
And this is where they worked in the hole at bat. You can see on the fourth strike zone where they were trying to go. Work the ball above the letters, above the hands.
On a couple hits and 9 at bats. He competes when he gets to the plate. Beachy was a closer and a third baseman at Indiana Wesleyan. You know, more often than not, with a guy that pitched collegiately, you'll see them converted maybe from being a starter to a pen guy. Very rarely the other way around. The most prominent guy in Rockies history that had that story was Josh Fogg, who was a closer at Florida and then in the big leagues was a starter.
Yeah, Beachy is the only guy from Indiana Wesleyan to make it to the big leagues. It just tells you how rare it is for what, as you mentioned, what he's done, but also the school that he went to.
I think this holds true for all sports, but in particular the game of baseball. Guys develop at different ages. You were certainly a testament to that. So if you can play, they'll find you, and that's why there's Division III guys, Division II guys, and obviously a lot of guys in the big time programs represented. Nicasio's gone. So Beachy works out of a first and third 1 out situation by striking out Fowler and Nicasio. No scores. We go to the third. Time for the Excel Energy High Efficiency Inning. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Jason Hayward hit a drive to center field. No problem for Dexter Fowler. Juan Francisco had walked, but then the inning-ending double play off the bat of David Ross. Strong inning for Nicasio. Our Excel Energy High Efficiency Inning. So Nicasio here in the third will start with the 8th place hitter. That'll be Tyler Pasternak in front of Brandon Beachy. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, and Jenny Kavnar from Coors Field. Rockies will be in San Diego over the next few days. They'll have an off day Thursday. Then they'll play 3 in LA and just a mini 2-game set in San Francisco. Tuesday's going to be a late night. Next, not this Tuesday, but 9 days from now. It's a night game against the Giants. Rockies on our itinerary says we're going to get back if it's a normal game in terms of time. We'll get back at 3:45 in the morning.
And then turn around, play that night against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
2-0 on Pasternak. Another guy that shoots the ball the other way quite a bit. 2-1.
He has hit 11 out of his last 14 games. Because there was a stretch early where he got off to a hot start, then cooled off, and they sat him for 2 or 3 games to let him catch his breath. It was a big battle in spring training. Who was going to be the starting shortstop? And Pasternak won the job.
2-2. Tulo's got to move up the middle. He gets there and will get Pasternak by a step. Fine play by Troy. That'll bring up Beachy. Coming up in the 6th inning. Toyota talk. Text Toyota to 720-720. Thoughts and questions. Plus learn how to win a $500 gas card. Beachy takes ball 1. The Braves are 17-7 since April the 10th. Best record in baseball. Look out for the wall. Dyer had to make 2 nice running catches going near that right field line. 2 outs.
That one was more difficult because the wall was closing in.
Michael Bourne coming up. Our fun fact brought to you by All Copy Products. Most games to first career save since 1969 when the save became an official statistic. We're showing Levon because last night he got the save. 485. Third most. Frank Tanana 530. Jamie Wright, who's with the Dodgers now. Saw the big handsome the other day. 500. John Smoltz went 374. That's a base hit. Michael Bourne just keeps on keeping on. 10-game hitting streak for Michael.
Raised his average against right-handed pitching. Came into the ballgame in .423 clip.
Now Steve Carlton, was on that list. But Steve Carlton actually had a save back in 1967 before it was a statistic.
Yeah, in 69 it became an official statistic. So that's why it wasn't classified as a save.
How about Bourne? He saw 3 pitches, didn't swing, and struck out his first at bat. He said, that's not happening this AP.
I see a fastball, I'm going to swing.
Now you have to worry about him going. 61 steals last year. Led all of baseball.
And 9 this year, including a couple in this series.
Since '08, he leads all big leaguers with 224 steals. Prado takes ball one. That's in there, 1-1.
Prado got into the ball game last night, couple at bats, hit by a pitch and also a walk, but he had missed the previous 2 days with a flu bug.
And there he shoots the baseball to right. It's going to be a first and third situation. He is a master at doing this.
Just shooting the ball, as you mentioned, Drew. Stays down and through the baseball, pulls the hands in towards the belly more to get the barrel to shoot it to the right side. From the side, you can see, you know, that even the back leg has already collapsed somewhat, but he's still able to get the drive through there when he hits the baseball.
Let the ball travel, hit it even with the body. Huh?
Yeah, it's easy to say, harder to do.
Freddie Freeman. Freddie was hit by a pitch his first time up. 1-0 count, 2 outs. Bourne at third, Prado at first, back-to-back knocks in a scoreless game in the third. Freeman hits it high and deep to right center field, and this one is going to leave the yard. 3-run home run, Freddie Freeman. And that has been one of the problems for Nicasio this year. He has given up the long ball, the 6th home run he's allowed.
That's the 8th home run for Freddie Freeman in 11 ball games against the Colorado Rockies. Well, we talked about how the ball to center field almost hit a wall, it seemed like. This time, no wall to hold the ball from Freddie Freeman.
He has a classic power hitter's uppercut, doesn't he?
Almost like, remember Ryan Klesko?
Yes.
That's what it looks like to me, a Ryan Klesko swing.
Our Prince fielder.
Yeah. But all this with 2 outs.
Well, if he played the Rockies for 162 games, he'd hit well over 100 home runs. If you're into trends.
He just keeps getting better and better. And he's still only 22.
I remember what Greg Walker told us, hitting coach the other day, said he may be the best young hitter he's ever seen.
Now watch this from the side, but how the barrel goes this way and then finishes up around here.
One and two on Ugla. He gets a slider, 2-2. Freeman is just 22. Visiting with Chipper. Chipper says I'm pretty good. I guess I am pretty good. Ugla goes down swinging for the 2nd time in the game. Damage done with 2 outs. A 3-run home run from the Braves first baseman, Freddie Freeman. Of the third. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question on a Sunday afternoon. Who hit the ball Troy Tulowitzki turned into an unassisted triple play a few years back? There's a reason we're asking it in this series. We'll leave it at that. Scudero takes a strike from Brandon Beachy. We said he'd throw inside.
Yeah, but that was a changeup. But it doesn't matter if it was a fastball or changeup. It's coming to your head.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, you still duck and say, "Don't hit me."
This ball's well hit center field. Bourne will slide over. Remember Scudero's reaction in the first inning? He hit the ball to very deep left field. It was almost as if he's looking out there at Prado saying, really, you caught that? I have to believe, I mean, Freddie Freeman may feel differently, but I have to believe the ball is really not carrying.
Well, at right field and right center field, that is the wind area at this ballpark. But today, there's something going on into center field to left. But Freddie Freeman also has maybe 40 or 50 pounds on Marco.
Yeah, it's like the guy on deck. I mean, when they hit it, they're going to have it cut through the wind. Freeman, Carlos Gonzalez, Giambi, Tulowitzki, that ilk of power. Well, the Rockies trying to write a new script today. Instead of jumping out to a big lead, the Rockies want to come from behind this afternoon. The script they utilized Friday and Saturday did not work.
Yeah, the first two manuscripts is it. Well, let's go to a third storyline.
This ball is right at Bourne. Again, they're getting good swings at Beachy.
And that's all you can control. As a hitter, you go up there with the game plan, you execute it, but sometimes you have no control over where it goes after it leaves the bat into the opposing team's glove.
Another good game like last night. Cargo being one of the top 10 hitters in the National League. He's at 323 right now, just outside the top 10. Tried to bunt his way on with the third baseman Francisco back. John Jay right now at 405. Here the Cardinals leading the league.
Hey, for a great deal, ask about the Swede 6-pack with savings up to 25% off the regular price. Call 303 Rockies to get a sweet deal.
Ball and a strike on Carlos. He walked and stole second in the first inning. Tulowitzki had a drive to deep center field that was tracked down by Bourne. One and two. He's got him in that breaking ball count.
And he threw it last time in this situation.
And Beachy able to stab that baseball. Fortunately for him, he was able to do it. If it goes over his head, it's probably an infield hit. Rockies go quickly. those kids there. Those are Mike Fox's boys, our producer. Who hit the ball? Troy Tulowitzki turned into an unassisted triple play. Our AT&T trivia question. Runners at first and second, both going. Chipper Jones lined to short. Tulowitzki was going toward the bag, gloved it, tagged everybody, stepped on every bag, and then threw to first to try to get 4 outs. And he whips it to short. This could be a triple play. It will be. Unassisted. Troy Tulowitzki. Dougie, how many unassisted triple plays? Big league history now? This could be a triple play. It will be. Unassisted. In the history of the game,
but fewer unassisted triple plays than perfect games.
Exactly. We were talking about somewhere in the I think it's in the low teens.
It's 13. 12 or 13.
Jason Hayward at the plate. Chipper getting the day off. How about this stat on Chipper? He started 15 games for the Braves this year. And the Braves are 13-2 when he starts. And he's done a lot of damage in this series. Driven in 7 runs, matched his career high with 5 ribbies last night. 18th time he's driven in 5 in a game. And
21 total RBIs, is second, only trailing Freddie Freeman on the Braves.
3-1. Little controversy between Chipper and Jamie Moyer, evidently, that came to light today. Ball 4 on Hayward. We'll expound on that in a moment, but right now we check in with Jenny Cavnar. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, you guys were talking about Chipper Jones. Tough to see him go on this farewell tour, right? Not. Rockies fans ready for him out of here. He played just 2 games, hit .545 this series. I got a chance to sit down with Giambi recently and chat with him about Chipper.
Oh, he's incredible. You know, the things that he's accomplished on the field. I know he's been a big presence in Atlanta for a lot of years. You know, we basically have played the same amount of years in the big leagues. So to see him and what he's accomplished, it's incredible. Switch hitter, Gold Glover, you know, MVP. You know, the list goes on and on. But the biggest thing is he's a great teammate. You know, and the guys love him. That you talk about the league, and I'll see him today, and we'll goof around. And you know, I wish him the best and a great farewell.
Well, of course, at the start of the series, the Rockies honored Chipper Jones as he is making his way through his last season of Major League Baseball. A lot of fans here grew up watching the Atlanta Braves on TBS before the Rockies came, so I think it was for fans, but like I said, ready to have him away from Coors Field, guys.
Yeah, he's driven in more runs than games played against the Rockies at Coors Field. 58 games, he's driven in 61 runs.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot, without equivocation, Hall of Famer.
You know, somebody will leave him off the ballot, though.
Jason Hayward started to go shut it down. Now it's a base hit for Juan Francisco to right. Hayward stops at second. Well, he told me yesterday, again, I mentioned this story, that it feels like his best moment in Coors Field was '95 postseason, 2 home runs and a backhand stab to rob Andres Galarraga in that first ever playoff game at Coors Field, that '95 wild card team for the Rockies. A little bit more on that Moyer story. So Moyer supposedly felt like Chipper, when he was at second, was relaying either signs or location to the hitter. That's going to be a base hit for David Ross and a stop sign for Hayward. I want to test Cargo's arm. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tyler Pasternicki coming up. Bob Apodaca is going to go to the mound.
Well, this is last night. Chipper Jones is looking around and talking to Troy, and he just started to walk into his normal positioning, but Jamie thought he was relaying signs to Brian McCann. So Chipper just, this is how you do it at second base. You just walk in there.
Well, is that not part of the gamesmanship that is baseball?
It is. I mean, we've seen it before. I know Paul Molitor and Robin Yount were probably 2 of the best that I played against, but, you know, if you're giving up the signs and so forth, then shame on you. Change it up. Figure out what you think he's doing and how he's relaying it, and go to a different sign. But knowing Chipper Jones, that's not his personality, and I don't ever remember him ever being accused of relaying signs before. Not to say that he was or wasn't doing it, but it's just not part of his makeup.
But it's an accepted part of the game.
Yes, it is. And as a former base stealer at second base, I was always trying to pick up the signs. That would not only help me if I was stealing the base, but anticipating a breaking ball in the dirt so I could advance.
Here's Pasternicky with the bases loaded, so Nicasio's going to have to bear down here with the Rockies already trailing 3-0. Top of inning number 4.
And on the season for the Atlanta Braves, 9 for 28 with the bases loaded. Pasternicky 0 for 2.
You have good speed at third base. Even with the bag at third is Herrera. Behind the runner, and thus behind the bag, is Giambi at first.
Well, with Pasternicky, the way he hits the ball to the right side, you want to make sure Jason has more range to try to get the ball and start a double play. Jonathan's closer because he's not typically a pull hitter.
2-1 as the slider misses. Given the game situation, 3-0 already, nobody out. If the ball is hit at Herrera, I would assume he'll come home.
Come home. If it's coming towards him, right at him, if it goes to his left, you go to second. To his right, he would step on third.
That's why I pointed out Giambi. Giambi would have to turn it up the middle.
Right. But why he's back, though, if he's in front of the base runner, David Ross, then that opens up even more of a hole between first and second because of where Marco Scutaro is playing in the double play depth.
3-1 on Pasternicky. The pitcher Beachy's on deck. Pasternicky's been relatively tough to strike out. A walk and 2 singles have loaded the bases, nobody out. Up the middle, and Scutaro is going to run to the bag. That's all he's going to get. It's going to be an RBI for Pasternicky. 4-0 Atlanta on the fielder's choice. Pasternicky's 8th RBI.
A Baltimore chop in front of home plate over the head of Nicasio. And both the shortstop and second baseman are going towards the baseball. There's nothing you can do. It's hitting no man's land. And Marco wisely steps on the bag because Pasternicky had already reached first base. Don't try something foolish and give him another run.
See how they play this. You have a guy with pretty good speed at first base at Pasternicky. A pitcher at the plate. They're going to show bunt. They do bunt.
What was interesting is Francisco at third base. He took off almost immediately like it was a safety squeeze. I mean, he waits and see if he's going to bunt the ball and then go. Bunted and he took off. So you think about that if you're in the field.
Johnny's coming down the line, so the rule of thumb for Francisco is he can come as far as Johnny is at third, and that's what he's doing. What are your other options bunt defense wise? Have the pitcher cover the entire left side would be one option.
Yes, yes, it would be. And then so what you would have was the pitcher go over here to this pie, and then you have Giambi come here. Those are your two choices if you're going to leave Jonathan at third. But if he creeps, and it changes it into thirds.
They changed up their coverage right there. This is one of those areas where you don't visit this after spring training.
Well, and the other thing too is if he does bunt it towards Jonathan at third base, even if he checks the runner, by the time he throws to first, Francisco could still score. Squeeze.
Squeeze is on, and now Francisco's a dead duck. And they have the runner at first hung up, Pasternicki. Is a tag applied? Yep, Scudero got him. So the Rockies turn a strange double play and only give up 1 run in a bases loaded, nobody out situation. The suicide squeeze was on. Hernandez makes a tag, and then Pasternicki got hung up. 4-0 Atlanta, middle of 4. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Ford Focus. It's 40 miles per gallon of pure fun. Start more than a car. Ford Focus. Go further. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by College Invest. Are you saving for college or just talking about it? What are these guys doing? That's up in Morrison, evidently. These guys are cliff jumping. They look like you're cliff jumping into a bathtub. I mean, there's rocks on both sides.
No, thank you.
I'm out. That was a belly flop from 30 feet. How'd that feel?
Sure, it's not real warm either.
Yeah, but you're right. Tulowitzki hit a deep drive to center his first time up. This one's out of play. Down the right field line. Wonderful crowd at Coors Field today. Rockies have to play catch up. They've been 1 hit so far by Brandon Beachy, but that's nothing new. Lefties coming in, hitting 197. Righties hitting 190, as Jeff told you at the top of the broadcast. Beachy, 4-pitch mix. He's been able to spot the fastball, and he will work in. They're going to come in again here. Last time Beachy was at Coors Field, things did not go well. It was last July. He gave up a home run to Cargo, and he gave up a home run to Troy Tulowitzki.
Last year for Beachy was the learning process. Only went into the 7th inning in 4 of his 25 starts. And this year, his last 4 consecutive starts, he's gone into the 7th.
One, two. 2-2 on Tulowitzki. Giambi and Kadire to follow. Rockies on this homestand with the 5 hits they've allowed in this game have allowed 118 hits.
Just think back to these last 2 ball games. I mean, the 2 teams have combined for 39 runs and 54 hits.
Yeah, it's not often you could say, yeah, we scored 8 in one game and then 9 the next night, and you're 0-2.
And have big leads. I know you touched on in Atlanta coming back first time since the Boston Braves, but those are games that just wear on you. Tracy said as much last night. That was unfortunately one of the worst games that they'd had.
Yeah, he said flat out, he said that was his opening statement. He said that's the worst game of the year.
Eighth pitch for Beachy coming up to Troy.
Ground ball to third. Francisco handles the topspin hop. 1 out. That'll bring up Giambi. Walked his first time up.
Well, you can't charge every ball at third base. It's not like shortstop or second base. You have to give occasionally, and that's what Francisco did.
This ball line to center, and Bourne makes the catch. Rockies have squared up some balls in this game. Most of them have found Michael Bourne, though.
And speed helps, because Michael Bourne closed ground in a hurry, and that was a catch. Put the glove on the grass and reach out. And then you have to close that wrist, use a big strong wrist so that ball doesn't pop out of the glove when you hit the ground.
Kadire takes a strike. And another. Michael reached on a fielder's choice his first time up, a career .355 hitter against Atlanta. He's only played 8 games against the Braves. And this ball is well hit. Hayward makes the catch. Well, that's at least 5 balls that have been well struck in this game, maybe 6, looking at my scorebook, that have found leather. 4-0 Atlanta. Two in the Braves order after watching the Rockies play today and the Toyota postgame show. Stick around for Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. We'll chat with Todd Helton about his very good start. And we'll also talk about the reasoning behind how certain players pick their jersey numbers. Also, don't forget to look for the key word during the show to win a pair of tickets from Root Sports. Beachy takes a strike. Nicasio has allowed 4 runs on 5 hits. He's walked a couple. He has 3 strikeouts. Good news today. Jeremy Guthrie threw a bullpen session, and it was a pretty sharp bullpen session. He wasn't tentative. So the next step will be to face hitters, and that would be Tuesday. And Jim Tracy kind of hinted as Beachy's gone that because he's been off now for a while, it's more than likely he would have to have at least one rehab start before pitching in a big league game. Because again, especially the way things are going, the last thing Jim needs to do is put a pitcher out there that he can only get 4 innings out of, or may not really be ready to go.
Or a pitch count where I only want him to throw 75, 80 pitches. When he goes out there to the hill, he's got to be able to throw 110 to 115. Because we've seen what's happened with the starting pitching. When you do that, then it hamstrings the bullpen and the manager and what he can do. So there's still a question mark of who are going to be the starters on Tuesday and Wednesday in San Diego. I mean, tomorrow it's Drew Pomeranz.
Well, Alex White was supposed to go today for Colorado Springs, and he was scratched. So that may be a rather large clue.
Well, yeah, and he wasn't injured, from what I'm hearing. So it was just a scratch. That still fills one spot, and then who gets the other one? Could it be a Carlos Torres who pitched an inning last night? But it depends on what happens in today's game. Christian Friedrich, who's been pitching well and is lined up for a start on Wednesday based on when he started last in the Springs.
2-2 on Michael Bourne. That is the wise decision by Nicasio. If he feels that fair territory, he's not getting in and out.
Well, especially where Bourne was. Down the line, it has the hook spin on it, but Bourne had beat the baseball. Nicasio wisely, as you mentioned, Drew. I'm not going to get him. I don't want to risk a throw. Hit it foul.
Michael, to beat that out, he ran. Actually, he run through the bag at first. He ran halfway to see Michael Kadire. Boy, it took him a while to get back. I like this kid. He's got a smile on his face. He's
high
intense.
energy.
Yeah, energy.
Juan Pierre type.
Yes, hard worker. Grew up playing for his dad in Houston, and his dad coached his Little League team. They won about 5 state titles at different levels all the way through 14 till he went to high school. You know who was his teammate growing up the whole way? Carl Crawford.
About that team.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? It's amazing how many stories we hear about multiple big leaguers on the same youth league teams.
Well, the team back in Virginia.
Yeah.
Upton.
David Wright, Ryan Zimmerman, both Uptons at one point. 2 outs, nobody on, and Martin Prado up. Line drive to right and a base hit to right. Braves scored in the 3rd inning. 3-run home run from Freddie Freeman, and then they scratched out a run in the 4th. So it could have been a much bigger 4th inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out. Pasternicki grounded into a force out to produce 1 run. And then on a suicide squeeze attempt by Brandon Beachy, he missed the baseball. the runner at third, Francisco, was a dead duck, and then Pasternicky tried to. He got a late jump on it.
Where was he going? First of all.
Yeah, I didn't understand what he was doing, and he ended up in a pickle between first and second.
So with it, that would be 2 caught stealings.
Yeah.
The one at home, and then a 2-6-4 for the second out, and another caught stealing.
Yeah, I don't
Strange.
know. I don't know how often you see that. 2-2 on Prado. He went. So Nicasio with his 5th strikeout as he gets Prado. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Time to start turning those good ABs into some runs for the Rockies. Light freeze cam. Michael Bourne stealing a base hit. I think that's brought to you by Frost Brew Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. With Jeff Hewson and Jenny Cavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies in the 5th inning trailing 4-0, trying to avoid being swept by Atlanta, trying to avoid a 3-6 homestand. Rockies 8-9 so far at Coors Field. That's very unlike what they've traditionally done, though they were under 500 last year. Ramon Hernandez, first pitch swinging, grounds out to Pasternicky. 9 in a row set down by Brandon Beachy. Dexter Fowler coming up
with a lot of help from his defense, but he's pitching to contact, and line he can't defense a walk. So he's just saying, hey, here it is, I'll use them. But 14 of 16 first pitch strikes for Beachy.
14 of 16.
Yes,
that is impressive. Make it 15 of 17.
Well, and then it just goes to those numbers we've shown before. What happens when a pitcher works ahead in the count? The averages go down.
Your average for a hitter when you're 0-2 is not good.
They elevated a fastball last time, but they're going to the breaking pitch this time.
1-2. There was the elevated fastball. 2-2. Three and 2. Your sellout crowd. Hey there. Beautiful day. A little bit cooler than it's been. That's a strike. And Dexter is the 4th strikeout victim of Beachy, and he's been caught twice.
I did catch the Ford strike zone. The other 3 strikeouts by Beachy were all swinging. This is the first one that was looking. Both angles, you see that it was a strike.
Casio with 2 outs. He struck out his first time. And he's 1 strike away from striking out here. One and 2. Called strike 3 by Brian Runge. That's 11 in a row. Set down by Brandon Beachy as we go to the 6th. Food's good. Always is. Famous Dave's Barbecue cooking up a storm. A lot of folks to please today. 4-0 Atlanta. Freddie Freeman, Dan Uggla, Jason Hayward, 3, 4, and 5 to face Juan Nicasio in the 6th inning. Well, the number of pitches very similar. The results are different, though. Freeman, one of the reasons why. 3-run home run his last time up. Also was hit by a pitch in the ball game. Time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. And Freeman with another base hit, and this could be a tweener. It will be. Freeman is going to try for 3, and he's going to have it easy. First triple of the year for Freeman.
Make that 14 extra base hits out of Freddie Freeman's last 28 at bats.
That's the first triple not only of the season, first triple of his career.
Just shows you the strength of Freddie Freeman to get on top of the ball, but then to have the go all the way to the wall. Slight bobble from Dexter Fowler in right center field, but Freeman's going the whole way. Stumbles coming around third. Could have been a stand-up.
Rockies have to bring the infield halfway. Uggla at the plate. Can't afford to fall behind by any more. The Rockies been one hit in this game. Here where Freeman is. There's a base hit, an RBI for Uggla. 5-0. 16 RBIs for Uggla. Freddie Freeman's in that David Wright, James Loney, Chipper Jones territory now. Rockies show up, and he becomes Babe Ruth.
Going Miguel Montero.
Miguel Montero as well. Hayward, a deep fly ball to center field and a walk.
That walk to lead off the inning in the fourth. Came around to score.
Two and one on Jason Hayward.
Veteran move from Jason Giambi. Just stopped Nicasio for a moment and reminded him about his left shoulder. It's starting to fly open, but also give him a chance to catch his breath.
Now it's behind 3-1. Adam Ottavino, picked up a couple weeks ago out of the Cardinals organization. Puts it down in Colorado Springs, brought up in the last 48 hours. And that's ball 4 on Hayward. Now 2 on, nobody out. Juan Francisco, a walk and a single coming up, and Bob Apodaca. They keep stats for everything, so I'm sure somebody somewhere on some website we've yet to look at knows who's made the most trips to the mound of pitching coaches in the major leagues. Bob Apodaca's got to be at or near the top.
Well, and especially the last few days, he's had to jog out there from the dugout way too many times. 6 relievers used on Friday night, 4 last night.
Jim Tracy was pretty emphatic in meeting with the media this morning, Jeff, saying that more or less, paraphrasing, that we're going to find some people that are going to throw strikes and give us an opportunity. He said, because I love where we are offensively. And last night aside, he likes his defense, and I think he should. Last night was abysmal, obviously, but so we're going to find people that can get things done on the mound. We have to.
Well, and to continue to go at the rate that the starters have gone, that's not acceptable. But I think the key, what you just said a moment ago, was throw strikes. Because when you throw strikes, your defense is more engaged. And when your defense is more engaged, because you're throwing strikes, they're going to make the plays. They're going to turn the double plays. They're going to catch the fly ball. All of that, it works hand in hand.
Now the Rockies ERA last in the National League above 5. The starters ERA is 5.5. That's last. Starters innings pitched the fewest in baseball. Therefore, the relief pitchers have pitched the most in baseball. And even the pen ERA, which had been pretty good for a while, that is skyrocketing.
The fewest inning pitches, that's what caused the bullpen ERA to skyrocket.
Casio at 90 pitches. He is not recording it out here in the 6th inning. Three and one. All of a sudden, his command, which is normally a strong suit, all over the place. Had a question about De La Rosa when we expect him back. He's doing just fine, but even if he continues without a setback, probably looking at the first part of June.
Good chance to see him in San Diego. He's going to come in and just throw a bullpen.
3-2 on Francisco.
But don't push the envelope with Jorge. Everything's progressing smoothly. Don't rush it just to get him back here a start earlier.
Well, when can we expect to see Arenado, Friedrich, and White? Friedrich and White.
Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday.
You never know. Arenado, not quite yet. Base hit. Around third comes Ugla. Here's the throw to the plate. That won't be in time. It's cut off halfway there. 6-0. And Jim Tracy has seen enough. So again, even in this situation, Juan Nicasio down 6-0 and does not record an out in the 6th inning. So your bullpen's going to pick up 4 more innings. So Juan, who's been pretty good of late, heads off trailing 6-0. '26-year-old big kid. He's 6'5", 230 pounds.
First rounder back in '06, 30th pick overall. We see that 10 games, 3.60 ERA and 15 innings pitched, 16 hits, 20 strikeouts, all in a relief appearance. No starts for Adam down in the Springs.
Catcher David Ross, who's 1 for 2, will step up. He grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the 2nd inning. That's what Adam Ottavino needs right now. 94 miles an hour on that first delivery. This is just his 6th big league game. One and one.
In the minor leagues, he was predominantly a starter. In 127 games, he started 126 times. 3 starts in the big leagues with the Cardinals. 2010.
Swung on and missed. His longest outing with the Sky Sox was 2 1/3 a couple of times. And this slider is popped up. Giambi in foul ground. 1 out. That'll bring up Tyler Pasternicki. Ottavino, a Brooklyn kid.
Threw 8 one-hitters in high school.
It sounds like Tom Seaver's career for so long before he finally threw that no-hitter, right? He's got the frame of a pitcher, doesn't he? Broad-shouldered.
Create the downhill plane.
Flash 95, 2 balls and a strike. On the corner, 2-2.
He's been sitting between 93, 95, 96 miles an hour. Throwing an 83-mile-an-hour slider. Pretty good mixture.
Full count on Pasternicki. Beachy on deck. Hayward at second, Francisco at first. Double play ball. Troy will take it himself. So Ottavino does a nice job, comes on, and he gets Ross and then Pasternicki, who grounds into the 6-3 double play. 2 more runs for Atlanta. Well, if you have young children, listen up. College right around the corner. Start saving now with an account at collegeinvest.org. All you need is as little as $25 to open up an account. Go to collegeinvest.org. Start your savings accounts for your kids' future today. Marco Scudero in the 6th inning. You're not thinking about college. You're thinking about how much cotton candy he can jam in his mouth at once.
How about having to clean those hands off?
How about the face? You know, he's like a 500 hitter, though. He's got about half in his mouth and half on his chin.
But he's having a grand old time.
And I'm going to pull Yogiism in it, and the other half on his hands. Those are three halves.
3 halves.
Marco Scudero has hit the ball very hard twice. Deep left, deep center. 11 in a row set down by Beachy. He averages coming into the ball game throwing a strike on the first pitch 64% of the time. The Major League average is around 59%. And today,
so only missed it twice.
Only missed it twice. 17 of 19.
It seems like every time you look up at the scoreboard, it's 0-2, 1-2.
That's because it is.
Well, he's throwing 79 pitches, 52 of them for strikes.
And even early in the game, not afraid of contact. Third time through for the Rockies, and this will die in the glove of Jason Hayward. Most of the balls have been in the air against Beachy.
Now he's got a beard.
Looks like Brian Wilson if he was a Rocky.
He says, I'm not waiting for Purple Monday.
He's
I had
entertaining.
my own Purple Sunday.
See, that has to be a parent. Only a parent would reach out and get a high five from that youngster right now. Why not? 5-second rule.
And that's how you should enjoy a game.
And Johnny gets underneath one, and Bourne will make the catch. Outfield getting a lot of work. There's only been 3 balls on the ground, either a ball in the air or a strikeout. 5 strikeouts for Beachy. 2 outs, nobody on. Cargo coming up, a walk, and he has one of those ground balls. It was a comebacker.
The Military Appreciation Day is May 28th. Active military and veterans receive complimentary tickets, and discounts are available for family and friends. Come early for the celebration, but make sure you do come out and celebrate our military.
The only hit for the Rockies, a single with 1 out in the 2nd inning for Ramon Hernandez. Rockies had runners at 1st and 3rd, but Beachy struck out Dexter Fowler and Juan Nicasio to put down really the only viable threat of the game. Cargo walked in the 1st, stole 2nd with 2 outs, and then Tulowitzki to drive to deep center. That would be the only other mild scoring threat. It's the only other time the Rockies had base runners. 13 in a row set down by Beachy. And it's 3-0 on Cargo. Three and 1. Troy hoping for an opportunity here in the 6th inning. Here's the 3-1. And this ball in the air to shallow left. Prado's got it. Each outfielder had an opportunity. What will this kid eat next?
Rockies 6-0 as we head to the 7th. Well, taking a look forward at how the road trip begins, Drew Pomeranz is going to get to start things off in San Diego. When you take a look at these pitchers, the biggest question marks coming on Tuesday and Wednesday. I talked to Drew Pomeranz today. He knows the importance of getting a win on Monday to set the stage for the Rockies, not knowing who their starters are going to be for Tuesday and Wednesday of that series. Drew also said, I'd like to make it to the 7th inning. That's a goal for these starters now. He said, we haven't had one starter go through 7 innings. It's Drew Pomeranz's goal to get there. But also, he obviously wants to get a win along with that. So he said he's going to try and carry over from his last start when he went 6 2/3 innings and try and take his efficiency in that and bring it into San Diego tomorrow. We know it's a pitcher's park there, so maybe that'll help out these Colorado Rockies guys.
Yeah, you hope so. And Jenny, Drew's going to draw a tough bull. He's got Edinson Volquez tomorrow. Now, Volquez is 0-2 for the Padres. Padres don't score a lot of runs. He has a 2.92 ERA, though.
Opening day starter for San Diego. But the 3 choices for Tuesday and Wednesday, we already talked about it. Alex White down in the Springs in 5 starts, 1-3, but his ERA 2.92. Christian Friedrich 5 starts, 2-1 with the 3 ERA. And of course, Carlos Torres also has pitched very well in his 5 starts at 2-1 and 2.80 ERA.
Ottavino strikes out. Brandon Beachy 1 out. That'll bring up Michael Bourne. Bourne 1 for 3. Singled and scored in the 3rd. He now has a 10-game hitting streak. Bourne against right-handing pitching this year is hitting above 320. In his last 86 at bats, he's reached 43 times, a 500 on base percentage.
What a pickup from the for the Braves from Houston last year. To go out and get a prototypical leadoff hitter, a guy that can bunt, steal bases.
I asked him yesterday what he's learned from playing with Chipper for a few months last year, a month this year, first spring training with Chipper, and he said, he's a great guy, and about 10-15 minutes before they get ready to leave the clubhouse and go down the field, he said, you just look over there and he's now put on his game face, and he's been a guy who's been doing this for almost 20 years. He said it's really impressive. Tulowitzki throws out Bourne, 2 gone. That'll bring up Prado.
Well, that's an old school mentality for Chipper Jones. There's some stuff that goes on during batting practice. You're getting your work in, but then you start to change the clock. It's ticking. I'm going to get my mind right, so I go out and going to succeed during the game. Now, you don't put up the numbers like a Chipper Jones just on pure athletic ability. That helps, but you have to do the little things.
Prado's 1 for 3, 1-1.
Prado 2 years ago was that all-star where they give you the extra selection utility type player. Martin Prado was that guy.
I've always been a big fan of how he's played. Always felt like he and Polanco were the best 2-hole hitters in the game.
But Martin has more power. That's what separates him. But the ability to go to the right side, to hit behind the runner, to hit with 2 strikes.
Long run for Marco Scudero. Prado, career high in home runs, 15 2 years ago. Hit 13 last year. Career 293 hitter. You know what? The cotton candy's done, and so therefore it's time for the peanuts. That beverage there in front is not his. 2-2. And you know what? His sister was worn out watching her big brother eat. Good inning for Ottavino. Couple strikeouts. Martin Prado not happy with Brian Runge. 6-0 Atlanta. Freddie Gonzalez will continue the conversation. Middle of 7. It is Sunday. We'll stick around for God Bless America, performed today by Staff Sergeant Chris Hamill.
Joining us today as invited guests of the Colorado Rockies are Staff Sergeant Dion Davini, Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Lopez, Staff Sergeant Samuel Simpson, and Sergeant Charles Burks. These men and women are active duty serving in the United States Marine Corps, currently stationed in Denver. Fans, please give a warm Coors Field Heroes welcome to these brave men and women. Thank you for your sacrifice and service. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we honor our great country with the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the United States Air Force Academy Band, is Staff Sergeant Chris Hamill. Please welcome Staff Sergeant Hamill and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
look back. Third inning for Atlanta. Freddie Freeman at the plate with 2 aboard. And this has been a customary thing for Freeman against the Rockies. He hits a 3-run home run. Then in the 6th inning, Dan Ugler rips a base hit to drive in a run. And Juan Francisco, an RBI single. You get the picture. It's been all Atlanta. Let's not leave out the guy in the hill, Brandon Beachy. He's thrown a 1-hitter through 6 innings. And he has retired 14 in a row. Last base runner was Ramon Hernandez, who has the only hit of the ball game. That came with 1 out in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, 4 ground ball outs, 5 strikeouts, 9 outs in the air.
One and 2 on Troy. Tulowitzki, fly ball deep center field, and a ground ball to third. Two and 2 on Tulowitzki. Looking to save energy and money? Find out how the little changes add up at togetherwesave.com. Your local Touchstone Energy cooperative, delivering reliable power, energy saving tools, and more. And the second hit for the Rockies. So that ends the run of 14 straight retired by Beachy. 25-year-old right-hander from Kokomo, Indiana. Giambi, a walk and a line drive to center field. He was robbed of a hit on a sliding catch by Michael Bourne.
There's a lot of catching up to do, but the Rockies, the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and done it before this year.
That base hit, Tulowitzki has a quiet 9-game hitting streak going. Here's Giambi's last time up. Thinks he has a base hit. Michael Bourne takes one away. Pulled foul. First base umpire Marvin Hudson had to hop out of the way and do a 180 to see if it was fair or foul. He almost wasn't able to accomplish both.
Well, and that's why he's in foul territory. Ball's hooking, and it was the correct call. That just chases you.
Two-strike count on Giambi. Braves will head to Chicago after this, and then to St. Louis before returning to Atlanta. They're in the midst of a stretch where they're playing 33 games in 34 days.
It started on April 27th, won't end until May 30th. They just handed a note here from Doug Marino. Guess who hit their first home run after 110 at-bats?
One Albert Pujols.
Yes, indeed.
Told you, give him a mental day off and comes back to life. One out, Tulowitzki to second. That'll bring up Kadire.
The first 12,500 fans on May 16th will receive a Rockies Rewards coupon courtesy of the Colorado Rockies. Arizona Diamondbacks in town. Call 1-800-388-ROCK or go online to coloradorockies.com/promotion for tickets.
Moving up to third is Tulowitzki, and David Ross Had to run all the way to the middle area of the Braves dugout to retrieve the baseball.
And there was a mix-up in signs, because the last person to reach second base was Carlos Gonzalez in the first inning. David Ross was expecting a breaking pitch. Mike Shaw's Subaru Supermo, it shows how he just reached up off the top of his glove. He'd set up, down, and away.
It just goes to show you that how vulnerable the umpire is in that situation, because even looking on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, home plate umpire Brian Runge, he never reacts. He's assuming a catcher's going to catch the baseball. He's focused on where it is. Ball goes right over his head.
Last thing you want the umpire to do is to be flinching.
Watch Runge.
Sits there, sits there.
I mean, it's really coming almost right at his mask. It was coming at his mask, and if it doesn't get deflected. Base hit the other way. Michael Kadire gets the Rockies on the board. 18th RBI for Kadire, and it's 6-1. And finally something for this sellout crowd to get excited about.
Troy with the leadoff single. And then Michael, another base hit to right field. That was pitch number 100 for Beachy, and it draws Roger McDowell out. Now, on a ball that's up, you have to raise up the body. And that's what Kadire does, raise up the body to get the hands above the baseball, and then bring the barrel and everything through that after, to allow you to not work underneath it. Michael was looking the whole way to right field. Not too many stressful innings for Beachy.
One out, Kadire at first, 6-1. Hernandez takes strike one. Oh, 0-2. Hernandez, one of the Rockies' 3 hits in the ball game. Catching tandem of Hernandez, and that'll be another base hit. And Rosario have produced the most home runs and RBIs in the National League.
8 home runs and 22 RBIs between the two of them. This is just take the hand off the bat. Watch from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Watch the top hand come off the bat. That gives you more length to try to reach out and get those breaking pitches that are away from you.
Matt Reynolds throwing in the Rockies bullpen. Dexter Fowler at the plate. Tyler Colvin has come to the on-deck circle. Reading all the quotes in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution today, Jeff, as you were. Freddie Gonzalez was saying, our ability to come back the last couple of days, if you play games at Coors Field, you realize you're never out of it. And the converse is true right now. Freddie sitting on a nice sizable lead, but he doesn't feel ultra comfortable.
No, because he's seen what this offense can do and how many runs they can throw up, and you check the stats and where the Rockies ranked late in ball games. It has no quit attitude, whatever you want to call it. The numbers are there.
David Ross's mask, 2-1. 107 pitches in for Beachy. Three and one on Dexter. This may sound like a contradiction in terms. Dexter actually has a good eye despite the fact that he strikes out a lot.
Yeah, 11 walks for Dexter.
Here's the 3-1, and there's his good eye. Bases are loaded for Tyler Colvin, and Freddie Gonzalez will have to go and get his starting pitcher, who was brilliant till here in the 7th. This is the Rockies' opportunity to get back in this baseball game. They have one in. They have the bases loaded and one out. Colvin coming up when we come back. Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. And by Comcast. Advertise your business locally on the network's People Watch. We can help grow your business. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com for details. Wow. Did I say I was out on that earlier? I'm still out.
Yeah, you're still not the backflips, not
front flip, back flip, belly flop, feet first. I'm out. Rockies will have Tyler Colvin pinch hitting, 3 for 6 with a jack, bases loaded against Christian Martinez, who got the win in last night's comeback victory for Atlanta. That pitch is down low.
Yeah, 1 inning for Martinez, 12 pitches.
Rockies tied with the Padres. Major League pinch hit RBIs 11.
How about that 306 batting average against Martinez?
This is a bouncer to second. Ugla will get just one.
That almost ate Ugla up.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
6-2. Runners at first and third. Scudero will come up.
High topspin chopper. Ugla really fought the baseball. Didn't catch it cleanly, caught it deep between his legs on the short hop. He's lucky that ball went into his glove. I've seen those come up, either hit the heel or the belly and not getting out.
Good job by Dexter getting into Pasternicki. Clean baseball. Taps him on the backside on the way out. As long as you can touch the bag, you can slide in that direction.
That's different than the high school or the college rules, where you have to go directly into the bag.
One and 0 on Scutaro. Marco, slow roller, deep short, long throw, Pasternicki, high, but Freeman is 6'5" and stayed on the bag. You always wonder why the tall guy gets to play first. That's why. Rockies scratch out a couple of runs. It is 6-2. Six nothing. The Rockies finally got to Brandon Beachy last inning. They had only one hit, so they produced 3 in the 7th inning. They still trail 6-2. As we go to the 8th inning, Freddie Freeman will lead things off, and Matt Reynolds is now in the ball game for the Rockies. Third pitcher utilized by Jim Tracy today. Reynolds has been a beast. Excuse me, Freeman has been a beast again. Hit by a pitch, then a 3-run home run and a triple in the 6th. He has scored 2 runs. Takes ball 1. He may have made the biggest play on defense, the fact that he could stretch his height, because if he has to leap, Scutaro's first is safe. Another run is in, and Johnny Herrera's up with cargo on deck. You never know.
Yeah, and he also used the bag to his advantage, where he stood on top of the bag to give him an extra 3 or 4 inches to go up with the 6'5" frame and the long reach and the long glove.
Slider misses, 2-1.
Watch him use that bag for even more leverage and more height. I mean, you can't get any higher than he was.
And he needed every bit of that in the long first baseman's glove.
Yeah, because notice where Scutaro is. If he jumps, that's a blink of an eye, Scutaro reaching the bag. And then you start to get into the dangerous territories with, after Herrera, Carlos, Troy, Giambi.
Strike 3 on Freeman.
Freeman thought that ball was high.
And he wouldn't, I mean, he thought, okay, here comes a 3-2 pitch. He wasn't even thinking that was a strike. Brian Runge rings him up.
Caught the top of the zone, but so many times when it hits the belt area and goes up anymore, it's called a ball.
And the strike zone, again, is not the top of the strike zone. It's not where you are when you're standing. It's where you are. We learned this last year at a seminar at Park Avenue at the Major League Baseball offices. An umpire seminar. It's where you are when you are attempting to swing the baseball bat once you've committed the front side.
Because so many people start at different levels and different ways.
This ball is well hit to left field by Ugla, and he has gotten a run back for Atlanta. For Dan Ugla, his 4th home run of the year.
17th RBI.
He's no stranger to trotting around the bases.
Very upright stance for Dan Ugla. Back elbow drops into the hitting zone by your rib cage area. He's just so strong.
He is, because you know where you see where the ball contacted the bat. He didn't get that.
It wasn't the sweet spot.
Jason Hayward 0 for 1, a couple of walks. 2 ribby game for Dan Ugla.
See, the sweet spot's out in this area right there. Well, that's closer towards the label.
One and two. Two outs, Juan Francisco coming up. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank. Juan Francisco 2 for 2 and a walk. Rockies pitchers have given up 29 runs so far in this 3-game set. Reynolds strikes out the side. That's the good news. The bad news is Dan Ugla touched him for a home run. 7-2 Braves. We go to the bottom of the 8th at Coors Field. Colorado with 6 outs left offensively. Johnny Herrera, Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, Christian Martinez continues on for the Braves. Rockies will have to do some great work here in the final couple of innings to avoid being swept by Atlanta. Francisco in on the grass at third. First pitch, strike one. Martinez gets a lot of ground balls.
A heavy sinking action because the fastball is 87 to 89 miles an hour. That was the changeup. $45,330 at Coors Field.
45,330. This is always one of the favorite stops of teams in the National League, teams in the American League for that matter. And not just because the hitters enjoy swinging the bat at Coors Field. Lodo, great place to hang out. Yeah, so many great restaurants, as we all know. The prettiest cities, prettiest climates in North America. Here's the 2-2. Slowly hit the short. And once again, a high throw, but Freeman has it. Just did get Johnny Herrera one out.
You can tell Pasternicki understands the shortstop position, because the ball was hit off the end of the bat, but it was spinning away from him, and instead of circling around and try to throw off balance, he gathered his feet and set those in the throwing motion real quick. I mean, it's a quick shuffle of the feet, get rid of the baseball.
Strike one. Cargo 0 for 2 and a walk. He walked against Martinez yesterday. 7 runs, 9 hits for Atlanta. 2 runs, just 4 hits for the Rockies. Strike 2. Pitch may have been a little wide.
Different styles of pitchers for the Braves. They have Martinez, they have Livan Hernandez, but they have the hard throwers and the Venters and the Kimbrel.
Another changeup, and Cargo's gone. You know who's a big believer in that? Not just having a bunch of hard throwers down in the bullpen, but having different arm angles, different types of pitchers. Kevin Towers.
Well, and Kevin has, throughout his long career, has known how to build a bullpen. Did it in San Diego, has remade the bullpen in Arizona.
Yes.
For that reason. And when your guys are coming up to just throw 1 or 2 innings, have that variation.
2-hopper to short. Pasternicki throws out Tulowitzki. Martinez very quick, 8th inning. He gets Herrera, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. 7-2 Braves will go to the 9th.
Day. This has been no day at the beach. We'll talk about it on the Toyota postgame show. Brandon Beachy was really phenomenal today. 14 batters in a row retired after that Hernandez single all the way back early in this game. Plus, running on E, bullpen having to pick up 4 more innings. They were already leading the NL in innings coming into today. So we'll talk about all that, plus go down to the clubhouse, speak with the skipper on a getaway day. Guys, that's coming up on the Toyota postgame show.
All right, Joel. Rockies have Carlos Torres throwing the 9th inning, David Ross, Tyler Pasternicki, and perhaps a pinch hitter. 7-8-9 for Atlanta. Again, the Rockies heading to San Diego after the ball game. And the West Coast has always been challenging for Colorado, and typically you're not going to be playing the kind of games that they've played here over the last 8-9 days.
Not with the ballpark and Petco and then the pitching staffs of the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. And Torres in his 3rd season, 1-3 in 14 games. He was pitching last night when the rains came. Through an inning, just 9 pitches. But after an hour and 9 minutes, Jim Tracy went to Escalona.
That's fouled off. Ross 1 for 3. Stay connected this season by following Root Sports on Facebook and Twitter. We want to hear from you. Tell us which series you have most enjoyed watching this season. Something tells me it will not be the one that is concluding this afternoon. Two-strike count. All right, you got the rally caps on. We're into that, but did you get the schedule wrong?
Well, maybe
Last
it's their
weekend.
Little League uniform.
But you know what? That could be. That's what I'm saying. They came right from their game. They're Rockies fans through and through. They just play for the Mets in their Little League.
Because there was some Little Leaguers going around the warning track before the game today.
They're showing
Dad.
See? They're showing Dad how to do it. Ross is gone. Torres strikes him out.
So you just turn it inside out, put it on, and that's how it starts.
So to 2 Mets fans, or 2 kids who play for the Mets in Little League, we're guessing. And Dad, who went to Auburn, or is an Auburn fan. Pasternicki swings and misses. And right now, Christian Martinez is on deck. You wouldn't generally go to him in a 5-run ball game. Johnny Venters, left-handed setup man for Freddie Gonzalez, has dealt with some shoulder stiffness, and Freddie has wanted to stay away from him. He's been able to do that throughout the series so far.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too, Martinez in an inning and 2/3 is only throwing 15 pitches. So, and you have a 5-run lead. Try to massage your bullpen that way if you're Freddie Gonzalez. Now, if Pasternicki gets on in scoring position, maybe he changes his mind. Looks like Livan Hernandez is throwing for the Braves out in the bullpen.
In the air to right. Kadire moves back, makes the catch. Two outs, and Martinez will hit. Time for a Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Unfortunately, it was a Brave with the Cold Hard Blast today. Freddie Freeman, 9th career home run against the Rockies. Martinez bounces one up the middle. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Rockies trailing 7-2. Good work by Carlos Torres. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by StubHub. Hey, fans, want to be here in person the next time your Rockies take the field? Just head to StubHub and choose your seats today. Bottom of the 9th inning, Jason Giambi will hit first for the Rockies. It is Atlanta 7 and Colorado 2. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your fever only at Taco Bell. Brandon Beachy went 6 1/3, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, struck out 5, and he gave up only 1 hit prior to the 7th inning when he was touched for those couple of runs. Through 108 pitches, he was terrific. Juan Nicasio the start for the Rockies today, and rather uneven, 5 innings. He allowed 6 runs, all of them earned on 8 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Giambi almost had a leg hit. David Ross had trouble picking up the swinging bunt.
He picked it up with his glove. He was trying to get it, and when he reached for it with his glove and made the transfer, it bobbled, but it didn't fall all the way to the ground. He caught it in midair. And if he hadn't have, then Jason would have been safe, but instead it's a 2-3.
Michael Kadire, one of the RBIs for the Rockies today. This is well hit left center field. Prado going back, and he makes the catch. So a long second out in the 9th inning.
Another ball that was hit rather well today that just hit that invisible wall. Prado goes as far as he can and leaps and makes the catch.
2 outs, nobody on. Ramon Hernandez. 2 of the Rockies' 4 hits today. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles. Rockies do not have an extra base hit in the game. Mets, Dodgers, and Atlanta Braves on this homestand, unless the Rockies pull off a miracle here. They're going to finish this homestand 3-6.
That'd be 8-10 on the year at home.
Despite averaging close to 8 runs a ball game. In the air to left, Prado has it, and the Braves sweep the Rockies. 2 come from behind victories. Today they won in conventional fashion. They got an early lead. They held it 7-2 as the final. The Braves improved to 18-11. The Rockies on a 3-6 homestand fall to 12-15, and they head to San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. That ball game in San Diego, that series in San Diego, begins tomorrow. Today's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Visit jimmyjohns.com to find a location near you. Brandon Beachy was marvelous today, improving to 3-1, 2 runs in 6 1/3. And at one point, he retired 14 straight Rockies. So Brandon Beachy lived up to his early season billing with the minuscule ERA of 1.38 coming in. Rockies, by the way, fall to 1-4 on Sundays. Stick around. The Toyota postgame show is next. 7-2 in Atlanta.